Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back. So, today we are going to be doing a Pokemon market update. Of course, we have seen that most sets have been pretty stagnant as of late, but today we're going to be seeing that the hottest sets, at least the most desirable sets in the market, have been keeping things kind of interesting. But of course, before we get to it, as always, like, comment, and subscribe. Every little bit helps. The Discord is in the description. Of course, hype the video as well if you are on a mobile device, and if you do want to become a channel member, that is up as well. So with that being said, let's get to it, guys. So the first thing we're going to be discussing here is, of course, Pitch Black. We're still several weeks away, about 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks away from the official release of this set. But we're seeing that pre-sale, pre-order sales on TCG Player are close to $300, which is absolutely insane, especially for the set. Like, I do like some of the cards within the set. The Darkrai's pretty cool. The slow bro, more Pekko has taken everybody by surprise. I think the set's a nice set, but it is a much smaller set. I don't think I should be at this price point at the moment, but this is where we are on TCG Player. And why am I mentioning this right now? Of course, it's because of this price point, and it's also because, once again, TCG Player isn't indicative of all the price points throughout the whole market, right? So if you just simply go on eBay, you'll see that there are listings or sales at much lower price points, like $225. Of course, we have a case here at 1600. It was at 1400 before. I guess people are starting to FOMO in a little bit. They don't want to buy too late. But we are seeing booster boxes selling around this range, 225, 230. Saw a few others here. But the point is that it's not selling at $300 as it's showing on TCG Player. We're seeing one here at $250. So, and we're also seeing the singles already starting to move, right? The Armor Rouge at $70, the Misty sorry, Full art at $53 on bids, so that was pretty organic there. But these are early sales, right? These are all going to be pretty inflated in comparison to what they're going to be like when they finally do release. The pull rates should be a lot easier as well. Eventually, I will have a pull rate video for that as well. But this is a much smaller set, so usually the smaller sets have better pull rates. And this Armor Rouge just being an IR at $71 is kind of insane. I would say I do like the card a lot, but still pretty expensive for an IR that you're probably going to be able to pull pretty easily, right? But something that I just wanted to point out there, because TCG Player is just so inflated with their pre-sale prices, it's absolutely insane. Next, Ascended Heroes, the ETB. Of course, we already saw at some point it was manipulated. There were sales in the 250 range, which is pretty crazy. It pulled the price up to $211. We saw sales all the way up to $270 when we clearly saw other listings there in the 170 range. Then, for some reason, they tried it again. More buys at $260. And we can actually see this here when we look for the sales, right? As of the 27th, just yesterday, right? To the 28th, I believe. Yes, it's just yesterday, after it was already manipulated earlier this week, there were more sales in the 250, 260 range, pulling the price point back up after it didn't reach to the price point where I guess those specific people were happy with. So it pulled back down to $188. Some of the boxes were still selling in the 170 range. They pulled it back up, and now it has dropped right back down to about $189. This market price here hasn't updated, but the box is selling in that range of, like I said, $175. So hopefully this box continues to pull back down, just to kind of recover from that attempt at the manipulation of these boxes. It is a really new set. It is a really strong set as well. This doesn't change that it is a very great long-term hold, but it is nice to see it bounce right back down to where it actually belongs. It's already really expensive, right? And then even if you look on eBay and you look at the listings here, even below what market price was, we're seeing 160 plus $7 delivery. Same thing here again. Once again, 160 plus $8 delivery, 160 plus $8 again. So we're seeing much better prices on eBay in comparison to TCG Player. Kind of shows you that you should probably be buying here as opposed to where it's getting manipulated. But once again, like I said before, these more in demand sets are keeping things interesting, because the fact that they're in demand, it's just causing or giving these people reason to try to manipulate these prices so that people continue buying because they're in demand, or at least they expect people to buy at those prices, which is pretty wild. But something to just pay attention to and be aware of. You always want to be in the know so that you can make the right choices for your collection. Black Bolt and White Flare, both still just maintaining, holding up at these price points, even in this slower market. We're still holding at $176, just a few dollars below the all-time high. Pretty insane. Black Bolt being one of the pretty cooler, cooler boxes. It's a specialty set. It's got, of course, a ton of illustration rares. We've already seen the values for those absolutely exploding for both Black Bolt and White Flare. White Flare is sitting at $145. Once again, holding really strong, even though it's considered to be the lesser of the two, or at least the lesser desired one, just because it doesn't have specific cards in it that Black Bolt does. But still, doing really, really well. Once again, same thing. IRs and SIRs doing really, really well within this set as well. Next, Destin Rivals, sitting at $582. Now, once again, the more desirable sets, keeping things interesting, not only rising or holding in value, but some of them are creating opportunities. Destin Rivals entered the month just above $600. We're now down to $582. So even though the market has somewhat slowed down, this may create opportunity for those that have been waiting in the background, just waiting for something a little more affordable, a little more justifiable, I guess you could say, for a set like Destin Rivals, because we all know that we all at least foresee that it's going to do really well in the long term. So Destin Rivals may be providing an opportunity for some, and we may have even better opportunities the next few weeks. We'll have to see what happens with that. Prismatic Evolutions, the ETB, also a victim of manipulation not so long ago. It went all the way up to $214, has now pulled back down to $176. And like I mentioned in some of my videos before, when manipulation happens, we tend to hit a new ceiling, creating a new floor. And at the moment we're at 176, it hasn't dropped back down to 160 where it was before that, before all the buyouts happened and things like that. So we'll have to see what happens with Prismatic. But once again, it is one of the more desirable sets. We do expect it to do really well long term, but as of right now, a lot of action with these desirable sets, specifically these specialty sets, just being pumped at certain points, but pulling back down. It's like there's a tug of war between those that are trying to manipulate and the rest of the market. So we'll have to see what happens. It's pretty interesting to see. Next, the Prismatic Evolutions SPC, another one, another victim of manipulation, which is absolutely insane. We saw some purchases you see right there at $425, pulling the price point up to $330. We're back down to $307. I will say that, you know, one of the items that I feel like I'm more susceptible to manipulation or a buyout is this box right here. We have so much less listed than we do for the Prismatic Evolutions ETBs. Only 628. That's really not a lot considering the waves that we've received for these. We've gotten nothing compared to, nothing close to what the ETBs have given us, like for Target drops, Costco drops, Best Buy, Walmart. We've received ETBs everywhere. But the SPCs in comparison have been much less. So I think this one is one that you do want to have in your collection, whether it's one, a few. I think it's going to be great long term. But keep an eye on it because, like I said before, I think this one is much more susceptible to manipulation or a buyout. So we'll have to see what happens with that. But it's sitting at $300 currently, about $307. And if you look on eBay, once again, we're seeing decent prices below that $330 price point, 285, $300 flat. Even on bids, guys, a few ending not too far from now. Actually, it says ended because I didn't refresh the page. So I guess this one ended at 217, one at 202, one at 206. I wonder why. Maybe it's because of the seller, but still just more affordable opportunities on eBay here with the Prismatic SPC. Next, Phantasmal Flames, the booster box, sitting at $463. The interesting thing about this box is that it's actually positive this month. It's up 4%, not too much, but in this current slow market, it's surprising to see this box still rising. Being a newer set, but a lot of people believe in this set now. They've completely changed their minds about this set. They truly believe in the Mega Charizard, which is actually also doing well in the last month, up about 4% as well, just like the box. This Charizard continues to pump. It's one of the greatest Charizards we've ever gotten. Whether you believe it's number one, number two, number three, it doesn't matter. The fact that it's in the conversation makes such a big difference. This card is absolutely amazing, and it keeps pumping, holding the booster box up. It's doing so well. So keep an eye on that. Whether it keeps pumping or not, it may be determined by this one card right here. Next, Mega Evolution Enhanced Booster Box. I know it doesn't get much attention. I know a lot of people don't talk about it that much, but I've said it quite a few times. this set is going to do well long term. At least I believe so, right? It's one of the deeper sets within the Mega Block. It's the second deepest set behind Ascended Heroes. Every other set has been pretty small in comparison to this one, and it's got a lot in there. It's got some pretty nice cards. They're holding up pretty well. The box is now at $330, and unlike a lot of the other boxes, this one has also been moving up just 3% in the last month. But still, if you look at the trajectory of what this box has been doing in the last 6 months, it's been absolutely insane. And it hasn't even needed like people pumping it. It hasn't needed any of that positive talk all the time. It's just continuing to do well. The market believing in this box. I'm not very surprised. I'm very confident in this box long term. Next, the Mega Charizard UPC. Once again, just like the other products here, a very desirable item. People want to hold this one for the long term, right? Sitting at $287, and once again, a product that did receive some manipulation. We're seeing purchases here at $382, $385, pulling this box up from the low of $230. It was at some point, it had a buyout, pumped up to 283, fell back down to 261, and got a few like decent manipulation, I guess, attempts at 385 and 382. So it could be the same people trying to manipulate this box that manipulated the things in Ascended Heroes and Prismatic Evolutions. We don't know. But the fact is that it is happening. So once again, a new ceiling, a new floor. We don't know where this one's going to stop. It is currently at 287. It came down from that 303 price point. We'll have to see what happens with this as well. But again, a box that probably has a great future. Some pretty nice promos with the Mega Attacker Charizard and the Oricorio in there. We do have some pretty nice sets, in my opinion, there. We have Distant Rivals, Phantasmal Flames, Mega Evolution Base, sets that we do know are really good. Journey Together, I think it's a bit underrated. And then we have some Surging Sparks in there. So I think this is a pretty nice set of packs here. So in the long term, I think that we're going to look back at this box and be very happy that we held on to it. And I think people are going to want to open this box in the near future or in the long future as well. Next, I did want to point out once again, TCG player being really inflated, pretty manipulated in some cases. We do see some better opportunities on eBay. We see one listed at 245. We see a bid here that ended at some point. If I refresh it, oh my God, what did I just press? Okay, I didn't know. I pressed something by mistake just now. But I think I might have to refresh it. That might be a different price point because the prismatic one was different as well. That might have to change. But 240 still on this one, 226 on that one where it was 212. So we're just seeing better opportunities here, even those that aren't on bids at 240, at 212 here. I think you could see here, guys, that it's a better place to buy right now at the moment, since TCG player is just losing control in reality. And sometimes we have to pivot to a different spot. We might use that as a point to reference price, but right now I don't think that it's the right place to go. So moving on, uh, Pokemon 151, right? We know that these are going to be great long term. They've already performed even now extremely well, but a lot of the sealed items have been actually pulling back. A lot of other items have been flat for some time, but these are actually pulling back. The ETB was at $650. We're now down to 607, and the UPC was up to $1,200, and we're now at 956. So you might be finding yourself some opportunities for those of you that are willing to purchase prices of Pokemon products at these prices, specifically 151. Those that do believe in this set, it is a great set, but sometimes it may be a little too expensive to be buying into these. It's hard to make these kind of decisions, right? $950, 600. It's still pretty expensive to make those purchases. Next, I did want to talk about the ancillary items. Being that we're seeing a lot of 151 pullback, and maybe you don't have a position in 151. If you're like myself, maybe you look at other items that have a better pack per price, like the Alakazam box or maybe the poster collection at $72 right now. The way that it's pulling back, just looking at this one right here, like I said before, you might be finding opportunity in a box like this one right here at $80 with these listings here. Even that is better than trying to buy an ETB at the current moment. So you might want to accumulate some of these if you are like myself and you're looking for opportunity. Uh, this may be the time. You might even have a better time in the next few weeks. But at the moment, just looking at what we have right now, it's a good time to be looking into 151 if you did want to accumulate some of that product. Next, last but not least, the Paldan Fates ETB. Once again, the more desirable sets, like I said before, just keeping things interesting. Even though in the last 3 months it's up 28%, in the last month it's down 11.6%. Entered the month at 537, down to $475. So once again, you might see some people actually making some purchases here on some of these items that have pulled back in price. Paldean Fates, 151, maybe Prismatic Evolutions coming back from the manipulation that it had, maybe Ascended Heroes coming back as well. You may start seeing people wanting to pick up these items now at these price points before they maybe get manipulated and stay there. You may be a little worried about that happening, and it's always possible. You don't know when the market's going to FOMO in. You don't know when this summer lull is going to end. It may be 3 weeks long. It may be 2 months long. We don't know exactly how long that's going to last, but you can't expect it to last forever, right? So if you want an opportunity for some of these things, maybe it's a time for you to start looking at these because, I don't see this happening for too long. I think that the Pokemon market will continue to pump at some point once again, and it's going to get incredibly hot. I will say that with these past recent shows, including the one from today, the market is incredibly hot, guys. Demand is still there. Maybe opportunity for the sealed items isn't, but the market is insanely hot. People are still ready to buy. They're still the market is very lively right now. So just something to keep in mind. I know that we get deterred from things. We're seeing all these thumbnails, these titles, market slowdown, market crash. But the truth is that the market is still really, really hot, and at the sign of opportunity, the market will jump on it. So be prepared, stay hot and ready, and just like those hot pockets, hot and ready all day. With that being said, guys, as always, like I said before, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. What do you feel? What do you think about everything that I said? How do you think the market's functioning right now by you? Maybe by you it's a little calmer. Maybe by you it's a little hotter than it is by me. But let me know. As always, I hope you guys found value here. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Stay safe out there. Peace.